Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to Descendants. This is a donation reward movie reaction, a reward for Smurflogs. Thank you for another donation, Smurf. Descendants, it is a Disney Channel movie, and that's all I know about it. I don't know anything else about this film. I don't know what to expect at all. Disney Channel films are very hit or miss. Some of them are really good, some of them not so much. But this one has received, I think, multiple sequels. So that's a good sign, I guess. I mean, obviously my tastes aren't always exactly the same as everyone else's, but we'll see. We'll see. There's been plenty of Disney Channel stuff I've liked, so there's a possibility I'll enjoy it. But yeah, I don't know what this is about. Like, even the title, it's vague enough to where it's like, I can't really tell. I mean, I know what a descendant is, but it's like, descendant of who, of what, of so many questions. It doesn't actually explain anything. So I'm going into this pretty much entirely blind. And honestly, I kind of enjoy it that way. There's some other stuff going to be coming to the channel and all as well with movie reactions. This one is the one I'm the most blind on, though, out of everything I've got on my list right now. And so I'm very much interested in this one. Plus, I'm just kind of in the mood for something that's probably, knowing Disney Channel, going to be a little more whimsical, a little more fun and everything. But yeah, I don't know what to expect going into this. We'll see. But yeah, I'm definitely interested. Definitely gonna see what this is about, because some people seem to like this from what I've seen. I've seen some people talk about it briefly, but again, I don't know what anything is actually about. I haven't heard any context or anything, so yeah, we'll see. Either way, we're gonna get into this, see what it's about, and hope for the best. This is about 2 hours long, just under, so it's a good length movie. Should be interesting either way. So let's see what we have in store. When the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the movie. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This movie, I'm conflicted. Because the final act of this movie was so phenomenally better than the entire first two acts that it actually feels almost a little jarring. Like the entire final act, the climax and everything, the stuff with Maleficent getting free and coming and the dragon and everything. It's like I was actually really into it. Jane being the one to release the barrier, and being the one to, like, kind of be the almost an antagonist there who caused it all instead of Mal. Like, I liked that. And it actually did make sense. That, like, it was built up to. Revealing in the first place that Ben wasn't hypnotized for quite a while. that the love potion had worn off in the pond there, and he knew about it the entire time and everything, and that the love was real anyways. Like that fixes a big issue I had with their relationship. Now it doesn't like completely make it better, because again, as I said in the reaction, when you're watching through, it's still very cringy at that part. It's still very kind of gross, with the entire love angle between them. It doesn't feel sweet. It doesn't feel nice. It doesn't feel like all happy and stuff, because you believe he's under a love potion, even though you find out he hadn't been for most of it. You, while watching, believed he was, so it still was kind of gross. And honestly, a lot of the school stuff and everything I was not invested in. A lot of the character interactions in the first two acts were very cringy. The acting was so overblown. Like, there's some good actors and actresses in here. Kristen Chenoweth alone, it's Kristen Chenoweth. We know she's a great actress. Dove Cameron is good. Sophia Carson. And it's like, Cameron, oh God, what's his last name? I can't think of his last name right now, but he's good too. And it's like, they were hamming it up so hard. Like, I know it's Disney Channel, and I know a lot of Disney Channel movies are very hammy with their acting. A lot of Disney Channel shows as well. They always have been. But this was very hammy. Like, even for Disney Channel. Like, and it was a Kenny Ortega directed film too, like comparing it to High School Musical here. It was very, very hammy compared to that. Like, High School Musical was hammy at times, yes, but not like that. Also, it's hard at first to like any of these characters, because it makes a very heavy point of, like, very much noting that this is a prep school, that these are all princes and princesses, that they're all rich people and shit. They all come from very distinguished families. And it's like, ugh, gross. It's like, are we supposed to be liking and cheering for these characters, like for rich people? It's like, ew, no. And then you have, on the other hand, the villain, the children of the villains, who it's like, yeah, you don't want to compare them to their parents necessarily, a big theme of this film. But literally, the first thing you see in them is them being dicks, them being bad guys. Like, you're saying you don't want to compare, the movie's saying you don't want to compare them and make that prejudice and everything, but like, they have to grow. They fully deserve that prejudice at the beginning. 100%. And it's like, at the beginning, there's like kind of no one you can root for. Because again, it's like, you have bad guys and then you have snobby ass rich people. Some of which are extremely snobby to a very hateable degree. Such as Ben's original girlfriend. I can't think of her name because I don't want to remember her name, because I just don't want to think about her that much. Like, she was such a piece of crap. Like, holy cow. And again, like, even Kristen Chenoweth, great actress, she was very much overacting. Like, she was goofy. Like, yeah, yes, this is obviously a more true to character Maleficent than, like, I don't know, Angelina Jolie's Abomination. But it's like, still, she was so hammy. It's like, why did she need to be goofy like that? Maleficent was never goofy. She was threatening and intimidating and legitimately scary. Like, it's been quite a while since I've seen Sleeping Beauty. But Maleficent was legitimately always one of the scariest classic Disney villains for me. She just had this intimidating presence to her. And in this, it's just, she's weird. And then the other villains are just complete wash-ups. Like, you get a glimpse with the wax statues at what they used to be like, and it's like, you see them now, it's like, you've fallen. Like, Cruella is just kind of you. Jafar is kind of a loser kleptomaniac, and it's like, where did the kleptomania thing come from? He was never a kleptomaniac in the movie or anything, any of the movie, either of the two movies he was in, I should say. He was only in the first two. Was he in the series? I don't remember if he was ever in the series. I never watched it too actively. But anyways, and the evil queen is just a petty, appearance obsessed loser. And it's just like, Maleficent was the only one who actually felt evil at the end there of these four villains. And it's like, also, like, we know one of our villains is Jafar and everything, yet there was no mention of Aladdin or anything, really, like, of being around in anything. Like, the genie and everything was mentioned and brought up and all, but Aladdin himself, the genie himself even, Jasmine, no one was seen at all. That entire line was just completely absent. And it's just like, okay, there's like, you're not going to get anything for that at all. It just felt, I don't know, maybe a little weird there. I mean, granted, I guess you could say there was no Roger or Anita either for Cruella, or at least any Dalmatians, but there was at least a dog. At least there was that much as a contrast there. I don't know. But either way, it's like, yeah, but with that last act being so much groundbreakingly better than the first two, it feels weird, because the first two acts were cringy as hell. Like, even for Disney Channel movies, cringy as hell. A lot of what they said, a lot of what they did, a lot of the music was super, like, try-hard. Like, again, I hate to keep comparing this to High School Musical, but because it's Kenny Ortega, I feel like I have to. High School Musical, yes, to a degree feels a little dated. Any of them, honestly. But they never go too over the top with them to the point where they feel out of place. Like, I've watched the High School Musical movies again recently, and they still hold up, honestly. They really do. I don't remember. It was like a few months ago or something. I don't remember exactly when it was, but they still hold up. This movie came out in 2015. Again, a lot of it doesn't hold up. The remix of Be Our Guest was really cringy when it started devolving into the rap stuff. It's like, it's literally, you see this in everything. At all of these kids movies and teen movies and stuff, like, try to do like some kind of like rap song or remix, a rap remix of something, because they think that's what the kids are into, and it's like, what? No, most of the kids are into stuff like Ariana Grande and shit. Like, it's like, or Taylor Swift or whatnot. It's not like rap stuff like this. That it feels, every time I see that, it feels so out of place, and it's almost never done well. And here it was like, they kind of meshed it well enough to make it like less cringy than it could have been. It could have been a lot worse, but it was still really cringy. Um, and again, a lot of the plot, like I wasn't into. Like, these children of these villains are being given a chance to prove themselves, to be able to come out off of this basically prison island and be given a chance to be good, unlike their parents. It's a very blah plot. And the entire thing, like, about, like, Mal and all being so obsessed with getting this wand for her, the magic wand for her mother and everything. And you know, she's also the most invested in this plan eventually, like, more so than the other three. Just like how Maleficent is the most invested in the evil more than the other three. It's like, I get it, but it's a bit much. And honestly, it just felt a little unbelievable because they Dove Cameron can't be mean. She's not good at being a mean bad girl. It's so unbelievable. Same with Sophia Carson. Both of them. They're not believable playing bad girls. They just feel like it feels like a good person making fun of what they think a bad person is like. It doesn't feel natural at all. The other two felt a lot more natural in that. Jay felt the most natural. He felt like he could be bad. The actor who plays him felt like he could do that. Cameron Boyce a little more so as well, but nowhere near as much still. Again, Cameron Boyce, he comes across as too nice, and especially with what they did with his character here. He was just such a nice, fun guy, and making friends with the dog and everything. It's like, this is cute. We're supposed to see him as, like, raised by these villains to be a bad guy, and it's like, at no point do I believe he's a bad guy in this. Even early on, before the dog came into the picture. And then some of these characters felt like they were just kind of shoehorned in just to have, you know, more references to Disney princess media and all. Like Mulan's daughter being in there. It's like, did you actually have a point to being in this movie? Dopey's son had a point. He was a notable character, at least. But it's just like some of them just felt kind of shoehorned in for the sake of just having more descendants of these fairy tale characters. And it's just like, you don't really have a role, you don't really have a character, you're just kind of there. Okay. Whoop-de-doo. That's kind of what it felt like for a lot of it. But again, that last act was honestly fantastic. Let me check real quick here, just to mention exactly where it started and everything. If I can find it here. Basically, the coronation and on. Once the coronation stuff really starts, that's where it starts to actually really get good. Like when Ben and Mal are in the parade and everything. Pretty much from then on, the movie is actually pretty fantastic. Everything before that is a bit cringy and a bit weird and just not really that well done. But everything from that point on. And again, the big climax with Maleficent being broken free and coming and turning into her dragon form, that was actually really awesome. And it's like I was saying that I wanted to see her dragon form. I did not think they would actually do it. Again, even though it was really terrible CG, again, Disney Channel movie. Um, Even though it was really terrible CG, it was still really cool to see that they actually did that, that they actually went there. And again, obviously, she was rather small. Because you see how big her dragon form is in the original Sleeping Beauty movie, and it's like, oh, yeah, she was much smaller here. Maybe it's because she hadn't used her magic and everything for so long. I mean, you could kind of like use that excuse. And that's probably the only real thing you can use with that. But still, it's still really awesome. And the entire climax and seeing Mal and them standing up to her and everything, and her eventually like turning into a little lizard because of it was fucking hilarious and honestly kind of really good. Um, and obviously, I think it was pretty obvious by my reaction, but the best part in the first two acts was the pond scene. And especially when Mal tries the strawberry. She's like, oh, I have to try the strawberry for the first time. Look, it's so good. And then she's like, that's actually really good. And it's like, that was actually really funny. I really actually liked that. That was honestly, I feel Dove Cameron's best acting was that singular moment in this movie. In this movie, of course. That was her best acting moment in this film. It felt real. Like, that felt like really funny and real. And I legitimately, like, really liked that moment. um, but yeah, it's like, that's why this movie is kind of mixed for me. There's With the climax and everything, there's a lot to like about it, but a lot of the early stuff is very cringy and very try hard, and honestly it's trying to like give this message about prejudice and everything, and about, you know, kids not being their parents and being able to forge their own paths in life, which is great messages, but they're not really done as well as they could be or should be in this case. Um, I feel like a lot of this movie was just kind of pandering to the idea of it rather than actually putting forth effort to make a strong, coherent, good story. Again, until the third act, which just suddenly just becomes amazing. And it's just like, where did this come from? How did the movie suddenly just change quality this drastically? Um, and I want to say here, it's like, honestly, with how this went, it kind of makes me interested in the sequels. Because maybe they could learn from the issues and mistakes that they had in this and actually make entire movies that are more consistent with the quality of the climax of this film. So I would be willing to see Descendants 2 and possibly Descendants 3. I would be willing to. I don't know if they would be good, but I'd be willing to check them out. Because although this first one was very mixed for me, I see the potential. There is very much potential here, and with legitimately good actors like this, and possibly more they could bring in for the sequels, there's a lot they could do with these films. There is some good stuff they could do with these films. And I'm genuinely kind of interested now in seeing if they capitalize on that. So Smurf, or if anyone else wants to request future Descendant movies in the future, or anything, please feel free. All donations, as always, are accepted, no matter how much you are able or willing to donate, but it is completely optional. If you donate, you get a reward no matter how much you donate. You always get a reward no matter what. You can request any movie, any series, something on YouTube, whatever you are able and willing to get to request. And As long as I haven't seen it, I'll get to it. Yeah. So, thank you again to Smurf for donating for this. And yeah, again, I enjoyed the third act, and there were a couple moments in the first two acts that I enjoyed. So hopefully Descendants 2 will progressively become better. We'll have to see if that is eventually requested. But for now, tell me in the comments below, what did you think of Descendants? Because while I have my opinions on it, they are not the end-all be-all. They are just my opinions. It's all subjective. If you like this movie a lot more than I did, that is extremely fine. In fact, I encourage you to have your own opinions and to form your own beliefs on anything I react to. So if you like this more than I did, if you disliked it more than I did, that's completely valid either way. But I'd love to hear your thoughts anyways down in the comments below. And for now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See you all next time.